Happy New Year! I have no idea if that picked up on the mic. That would be funny if like the fucking noise cancellation shit just cut that fucking harmonica out. That'd be fucking sick, actually. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't swear in like the first 8 seconds or whatever. Oh well, too late for that. There goes all of my money. Hey, I'm concerned for my well-being. But I hope you're doing well. So remember during last worst singles of the year list where I said that these worst singles lists would be like the one time each year I'm allowed to talk about something I don't really care for? And then I proceeded to only talk about things I don't really care for the following year. Look, man, I don't really even know what to say. Like, I just feel like something's been off this year. I don't know, man. I've tried to like stay positive and shit this year, right? But it's like something just kind of keeps calling me back. Whatever, I'm getting ahead of myself. Today we're talking about some music, and not just any music, bad music. This year though, just to be upfront, things are gonna be a bit different. First of all, this year I'm doing an honorable mentions list, or I guess it would be like dishonorable mentions list, but I mean like that's neither here nor there, right? My reasoning for doing this is basically because I want to kind of highlight and discuss some things that maybe like were super renowned in terms of things that people hated on, but I don't really feel the need to hate on more for one reason or another. Secondly, and this is probably more important, I actually wrote this list out in November, early November, actually on election day. I wrote this out immediately after coming home from fucking voting and shit. So we're here. All of that is to say, songs in November and December, they're getting moved into next year's list, bro. I'ma just keep it real. Yeah, cry all the fuck you want, bro. I don't care. You think I can just like sit down and write a fucking 25-page script? 30-page script and just like edit that shit by like a week's time? Grow up, bro. I'm the one with 400 subscribers here, okay? Try fucking harder, why don't you? What's gotten into me today? I'm usually not this like agitated, but like wait, no, it can't be. I didn't leave that there. I swear. Ash, you know what you must do. I really don't. Yes, you do. No, I really don't. Just end this fucking dumbass joke already, man. This isn't even funny anymore. Dude, you're just like dragging this on. I mean, fucking talk about main character syndrome. Holy shit, yeah, get over here. Yeah. Well, no time like the present. Hey everyone, Asthony Ashtano here, the internet's bitchiest music nerd. It's funny because I said bitch. Who up honorabling their mentions right now? We're doing honorable mentions. Oh yeah, by the way, I should probably mention that these honorable mentions aren't going to be in like any specific order. We won't get in order until we get to the like actual top 25 or whatever. Before we do any of that though, let me break character. I want to lay some ground rules, okay? I'm here to have fun, okay? Some of these songs are just going to be silly songs I don't care for very much, and I'm just going to poke fun of them a little bit. No like actual person-to-person hatred is like going around here, okay? Later on though, as we go on, I will say we are gonna get to some songs that I feel are just kind of like morally reprehensible. Let's say it like that, okay? Some mentions of some pretty heinous shit is gonna come up at various points. So, warning on that front. I will be making jokes about some specific people though, which is why I'm saying this. People like say like Ronnie Radke or like some other people later on down the list. I will be making jokes about them at their expense. It'll be hilarious, but hopefully I will also be able to genuinely articulate my actual points amidst all of that phony bullshit. That being said, I do also want to keep this a very positive discussion overall. I welcome any sort of like critiques, feedback, anything like that. All of that's super welcome. Please engage. Let me know like what your reasoning is for liking or disliking these songs. I'd love to hear your information that you might have. That isn't engagement bait. That isn't me being like, leave a comment down below. I actually want to have like a discussion here, and I feel like that would be a really fun way to kind of like engage critically with some of this music rather than me just like talking at you. I don't want it to feel like a lecture of pure unadulterated hatred or whatever the fuck. This is just to have fun. I'm just being a silly little guy. I'm just being a silly little guy. I'm just being a silly guy. I'm just being a silly guy. That being said though, I will not stand for any harassment either on my behalf or on the behalf of the artists that I'm talking about in this video. Don't mess with people. If you do that, you're fucking weird and gross and I hate you. My goal is really just to sort of like take these negative messages in a lot of these later instances where we have some bad shit and try to spin it into something that can be a bit more positive and a bit more fun and lighthearted for you people. So hopefully I'm able to accomplish that. If not, I'll cry forever. Cool? Awesome. Oh yeah, also 1 song per artist unless they're like a featured artist on a different song. I could throw like 20 Tom McDonald songs on here, but that wouldn't be funny or entertaining. Let's keep it moving. We have Fly by Quavo and Lenny Kravitz.
She an angel like I took her from the sky.
Ah yes, the classic example of having an old classic song that gets fucking just looped and sampled and reinterpolated. Why can't I say this word? Oh my god. Reinterpolated. By an audience. No, not by an audience. Bro! A classic song that gets sampled but then is like bad. That's what we're talking about here. That being said, Quavo here is able to do what the classics of like a David Guetta is not able to do. And that's actually have fun with it for once. I mean, sure, trying to have fun with it is kind of like trying to stop the Titanic from sinking with like a Home Depot bucket and some elbow grease, but like at least someone's trying, you know? And speaking of trying to save yourself from a sinking ship that should probably be 500 feet deep in the Mariana fucking Trench by now, Linkin Park is back! In all fairness, this is a return to form that could have been a lot worse. Well, it couldn't have been a lot worse, but it could have been worse. Man, this is such a painful attempt to try and like reinvigorate the emo sad metal vibes of an earlier Linkin Park while also having a level of overproduction that just feels absolutely vapid. Like, I get wanting clean production, but this production is so clean that baby ducklings covered in oil would be afraid that this would dissolve them. Crown of Horns by Judas Priest. Man, what the hell is this? None of these lyrics feel like anything. Like, this writing feels like Dragon Force if they took out the dragon and only left the force, because this writing is forced as hell. Wow, that was corny. Holy shit, why the fuck did I write that? This is like an anthem for people who are dungeon masters in D&D games, all of which get just a little too smutty. No. Actually, this is music for people who still buy loot crates. Slide by Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign. Yippee!
Addicted to the nightlife, jumping off a jet skydive.
Cynthia, Jesus died for
are Cynthia's.
Look, say what you will about Vultures 1 and 2, but these records were really interesting cultural moments. See, when Vultures 1 came out, Kanye West fans kept on just riding its apparently huge fucking cock, all in spite of Kanye West's own hilariously anti-Semitic bullshit. Like, these fans would just ride constantly for Ye and Vultures 1 from now until Kingdom fucking Come. And yet, when Vultures 2 came out, everyone thought it was whack. Look, man, all I've got to say is, like, if you're one of the most well-renowned artists of all time and then get such a cult following that vilifying an entire religion does not shake your audience, and they think that what you dropped was dog water, you've got a lot more to worry about than just making music at this point, man. Ronald by Falling in Reverse. You heard that right. Falling in Reverse did not make the list this year. I know, I'm just as shocked as you are. And for your sake, I'm so sorry for the implications that has on the songs that did make the list. Look, so much of this song is horrible. Is it overproduced? Yes. Does it exist solely to serve the ego of a Twitter crybaby? Yes. Is it over the top as all get out? Yes. Is one of the features a literal son who covered up his son tattoo the second he gained a modicum of fame just so that way he could play dumb? Ronnie Radke is a loser. But even losers know how to have fun sometimes, okay? As much as I never want to listen to this song again, it's still, outside of one of the corniest rap verses I've ever heard in my life, pretty dumb fun. Well, that's all the songs I got here for you. Fuck.
Castle, Wanda, I wish for a fabulous tweet BF, complete with voicemail, mini skirt. We've been over this! You are 10 years old!
It's a mix of unbreathable. We some little guys that we easily placeable. Ooh la la.
Alright, let's get this shit over with, man. Okay, so before I go in here, I gotta say, man, Smosh rules. These dudes make great stuff. I'm an avid Smosh Pit watcher myself. Fucking Reddit Stories goes hard. Smosh Mouth is a great podcast. Highly recommend that. All of that shit rules. That being said, this song commits a grave, unfathomable sin. It's not funny. Okay, there are some songs that can get a genuine visceral reaction out of me. Songs like Slayer's War Ensemble, right? That song makes me just like naturally bob my head to the beat. It's hard as hell. The Real Chaos Cha 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 by Shushu. That song makes me like squirm in genuine terror. It's unfathomable what that song does, right? Naturally, this song is the nightmare my brain conjures during sleep paralysis. It's almost like the exact same problem that I had with the one, like the Gentleman track from last year's list. It wants to be funny, and it's not. Like, am I just too woke for this? I feel like it should click, and it just doesn't. I don't know. Like, the beat isn't good, and it's not trying to be good, but it's also not so bad that it's, like, funny or memorable. They also, unfortunately, in my opinion, just play it really unfathomably safe with the concept that they're going for. Like, if there was ever a time to, like, fully go in on some, like, demon shit, now would be it. But instead, it's like, the best we get is, like, she make me bust atomic Sloppenheimer. Okay, that one's actually pretty funny, but you get the point. Like, she's sponging on my bob till I'm ready.
As a lounge singer, I'm extremely disappointed that politicians want to ban the tour of death metal group Cannibal Corpse on account of their lyrics being too violent. Well, I disagree. Take a look at them. The lyrics aren't the problem, it's the music.
Everybody's got a song called Rock Star. Lately I've been feeling like one, so I wrote one too. And it goes like
Rockin' hard or hardly rockin'. That sucked. I'm sorry. Man, I'm so sad that I didn't talk about Hardy last year. I had one chance to talk about Radio Song, and I foiled it, man. But hey, this is the best we got, so just like bear with me here, man. I should get my like necklace out. That looks hard. I don't even think you can pick that up on the camera, actually. That's really funny. Hardy, say what you will about the music, right? At least was funny. Again, I'll point to like Radio Song. That song rules heavy, man. Like, sure, completely ironically, mind you, but it still rules, you know? But instead, this is just Hardy, like, taking the same formula, the same idea that he's been running with since the inception of his entire career, only now, slowly but surely, running out of ideas. The riffs are like nowhere near as interesting. The drop itself is nowhere near as hard. In fact, you can literally hear the cut in the song when they get to the drop. It's so funny. Not to mention, the lyrics themselves are complete dookie dog water. He's literally just going like, I'm a rock star, you guys, and I feel like a rock star. So here's a song about being a rock star because I feel like a rock star. Like, these are levels of self-awareness that would make Sans Undertale shake in his fucking boots.
Without me, you wouldn't even exist. Without me, you wouldn't be able to contain the demon because of gaming. Look around you, imagine. Dragons.
Just throw away the key, don't worry about me. I was driving in my car, throwing up my hands, put it in close. I could do this with my eyes closed.
Look, I've never seen a song in my entire life that tries to be this edgy while also solely having a demographic comprised strictly of middle-aged moms with 7 kids, all of whom play lacrosse. I was made for this, and by this I mean the World of Warcraft original soundtrack. Oh, the treachery. Every single person is my enemy. Loom is this band's best record in like ages. However, that doesn't mean that it's good. Look, this is maybe the band's most introspective record since Smoke and Mirrors, but it's songs like these off of these albums that make Imagine Dragons such a hateable band in the mainstream in the first place. At the end of the day, even with Smoke and Mirrors, a genuinely pretty decent record, songs like Shots, The Release, fucking The Fall, great song, unironically, all get overlooked to death because you had Can't Fight the Friction! Come on! I mean, it's the outdated and corny cliches that plague so many of these most popular tracks, in this case, these annoying, god-awful, dated dubstep growls. It's the goofy lyricism that feels like it was written by an AI trained exclusively on the text from cologne samples and magazines. Imagine Dragons, genuinely, and I mean this completely honestly, is one of the first bands that really got me into music in the first place. I won't deny that. I think that that's great, and I love the fact that this band can do that. But the more and more that I've exposed myself to some genuinely emotional, intensive pieces of art throughout my music diving experience, the less and less that I'm able to get from this kind of music anymore. And that's not even to say that I dislike pop music or alternative music generally. I was just Barricade for a 21 Pilots show. I'm cool with admitting that, okay? It's no shade. It's no shade at all. But it's just stuff like this, where it's like stuff that I've already heard done better a million times by now that I can't get into. Both I and you would probably have a better time and a better experience listening to the Korn Skrillex collab. Let that sink in.
Their spirits are lifted to gay heights never thought possible. Queer little creatures, and gay to be certain too.
Muse is always such a genuine surprise to me because I've never seen a band so viscerally committed to having such a gradual fall from grace to the depths of Barnes & Noble CD bargain bins across the nation. Muse as a band has seemingly lost any sense of identity, and this song is just a piece of proof of that in a decade-long series of proofs of that. Not to mention seeing a band like Muse desperately clinging on to whatever scraps they can of a record like The Resistance since its release has been, well, sad to witness. Like, this thing is painfully slow. Scott Walker did not die for this. The first 30 seconds of the song are genuinely dedicated to strictly a film roll stock sound effect that cuts off before the song actually starts. It serves no purpose. What are we doing? There's this absolutely obnoxious repetition of the phrase Ave Maria from the song Ave Maria, where they say the line Ave Maria. It's funny as fuck too, because you know that the only reason this was included as lyrics for this song is because of the fact that it was the first classical song with lyrics that came to their heads. This feels like it was music written less for someone who listens to music to enjoy it and more to be the backing track for a baby sensory video. After this like dumb ass pseudo ambient music box segment, we get an epic techno breakdown, and it's like strictly something that you feel you could probably make in like Ableton intro. And I'm saying this as someone who had an absolutely dog water music project when I was a kid that used Ableton intro presets exclusively that I have since desperately tried to scrub from the internet. After this epic breakdown, the song stops and then starts back up again with an absurdly long random string section segment that goes nowhere other than to just artificially extend the song even further. Like, Muse as a band consistently tries to convince you, their audience, that they listen to real music for real intellectuals, while at the same time only consistently proving their lack of awareness of actual modern classical music. They're not trying to sell you a song based on the idea of combining classical instrumentation with modern music in a modern context. They're selling you instead on the premise that traditional classical music needs to objectively be held within modern alternative music. It feels less like it's about genuine experimentation and more like it's about superiority. I can't imagine where that might come up in a historical context.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
Am I just
This song sucks, and I take no pleasure in saying that. It's been so obvious to me that Tones and I has been consistently trying to hit that same song of the summer status that she had, or rather her record label had and is now striving to get, with Dance Monkey. This song is not good for the same reasons that every other Tones and I song is not good. It's just generic pop whatevers with nothing that you haven't heard in 10,000 other songs already. Like, I need to give this song some credit, because at the very least, this is not on the same level of cornball behavior that was anything off of Welcome to the Madhouse. This is genuinely a tangible step up for Tones and I. It's just unfortunate that this is a step up from rock bottom. Next.
Ops wanted some initiative. Blew up their entire quadrant. I'm moving like Oppenheimer.
I went to Poland. Do you still think that I'm joking? Yeah. Ain't no walking Poland, but we got some Poland. Ain't far fetched and all this. Bitch, I'm flex, a little kiss.
Netspend's overall force in the underground has been truly something to behold. It feels sort of akin to like Cemetery, insofar as this guy being an extremely underground artist whose sound is very experimental and out there, even when compared to like just as underground musicians, only with an even more abrasive, intensive sound and an even stronger cult following. The difference here, though, I don't get Netspend. This shit is whack, bro. I feel like this is what FD Signifier thinks Playboi Carti sounds like. I fuck with some hyperpop stuff too, man. I really do. This isn't even that far removed from like, say, the first 100 Gex record. But it just, in my opinion anyway, takes away a lot of what makes so much of that hyperpop stuff genuinely interesting, revolutionary, and cool. This thing is so obnoxiously loud and distorted and in your face that I was genuinely convinced that my headphones were blown out when I turned it on some like Marty McFly speakers type shit. And yet it's so unfathomably vapid of anything besides that in your face quality. I don't even have a joke for this one. It's just bad, man.
I admit it, I made it. I admit it, I did it. I admit it, I did. I admit it, I did it. I did some wrong, okay, I admit it. They not as strong, so they not gonna get it. Ain't on what I'm on, so they not gonna feel it. Even when out alone, I stand on the business.
People who be desperate for attention. So if you haven't been paying attention to DaBaby, you haven't. He dropped a song. It's this funny little silly little song that's basically hip hop's answer to Toxic Gossip Train. Like, there's nothing funnier in my opinion than having a song that starts off with an ad lib that's like, this is an accountability song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this big dog shit, nigga, grown man music. You know, this accountability song, you know what I'm saying?
And then having a cover for that song that flexes a Cybertruck. Not to mention, this dude isn't even hiding the fact that he's being completely unserious about this. The only actual apology part of this song is the hook, which basically just says, this is a song about apologizing. This dude's gonna hop on the track like, I love you, you love me. Literally everything else, like the actual verses, are just, I fuck bitches. These hoes mad.
Hoes mad, 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 hoes mad.
If this is an actual apology song, he's just a dork who doesn't know how to actually own his own shit. Conversely, if this is a joke meant to make fun of cancel culture, then he's a dork who doesn't know how to actually be funny. I genuinely could not care less. DaBaby gotta grow the fuck up, bro. Shit.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel.
Trying to get things right. They want to keep you calling. See you die, wake in the morning, good night.
Alright, y'all, this one's about to get serious. Buckle the fuck up. Listen, I don't think people understand the genuine real issue with Machine Gun Kelly. Not even his like most scathing critics, I feel, have really encapsulated the problem with MGK. Look, the dude has acted like an absolute dork in public, right? The Megan Fox shit was corny as hell. The Slipknot beef was a bad look. Like, the dude was terminally online there for a time, right? We can admit that. I do not care, except for that weird creepy stuff he was talking about teenagers way back in the day. We remember that, right?
And her count down the days until she's 18.
I'm not waiting until she's 18. I'll go now. I'm 23, dog. Like, I'm not like a creepy age. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 23, bro. She's 17 and she's like a celebrity. Like, there is no limits right there. Robert Plant, who is one of the greatest lead singers ever. For all y'all don't know, he sung for Led Zeppelin, dated a girl that was 14.
Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. But much like a Drake, actually, is not a problem in and of itself and is much more a symptom of a much wider problem that we have culturally. The real problem with MGK, in my opinion, is that he has kind of been culturally adopted as the mascot for the corporate takeover of sadness and sad expressions in music, specifically when it comes comes to genuine clinical problems like depression and anxiety and drug abuse and whatnot. MGK either is himself or has fallen victim to the ongoing corporate grift of emo pop music that is made exclusively for sad teenagers. Now, this in and of itself is not a problem. For example, there is a genuine The fuck is a genuine capability to do that vibe and do it well. For example, bands like, say, 21 Pilots, who I mentioned earlier, also Billie Eilish, even like My Chemical Romance, right? However, all of these bands are able to subvert the overall negative flow that can come in when you aren't careful about your messaging. The solution boils down to writing for yourself and not writing for your audience. That is to say, the goal of these bands is never to sit down and be like, I'm going to write this song as sad as possible so as many sad people can listen to this and relate to it. For example, Billie Eilish writes almost exclusively about her own personal experiences. My Chemical Romance writes almost exclusively from third-person characters. And bands like 21 Pilots, despite their overall huge status, consistently give mainstream pop radio sensationalism kind of a giant middle finger. I mean, they wrote an entire happy music album that was completely and totally commercially panned, despite it also strongly appealing to their core audience. Unless you're me, that record is garbage in my opinion, but that's okay. Conversely though, Machine Gun Kelly's writing and lyricism and composition does nothing to experiment in my view. It does nothing to subvert the overall commercial paradigm of his music. It does nothing to dive into the genuine specifics of his own issues, and it does nothing other than establish him as the guy who makes sad music for teens to be sad too. And that is in spite of all of the creative experimentation that I would genuinely like and would really enjoy to see from the guy. Despite having my very major issues with it, it's songs like, say, Daywalker with Corpse that somehow managed to both be Corpse's best song and Machine Gun Kelly's best song to date. Like, I can dig super heavily into this super aggressive, chaotic as hell, wanna punch some dorks on the street atmosphere, even if I think it's super campy and over the top at the same time. Instead, it's songs like these that provide a hugely inconsistent scattershot of a ton of different problems that are written so bare bones like that I can genuinely sit here and be in debate as to whether or not these are things he has even experienced. I don't know. If you're making music about these things, I should be able to tell. One line talks about the next having anxiety on the phone, the next about being watched, the next about all of these are topics that could have entire songs, entire albums dedicated to them. Instead, here, they're given such little time of day that none of them can be discussed with the genuine nuance that they deserve. I won't sit here and pretend to know what MGK's intentions with this song was, but on paper, this as lyrics reads to me less as though it is someone looking to do genuine introspection with their art, and more so as someone trying to come up with as many sad things to talk about as they can in order to make it as appealing to as many sad people as they can. With this in mind, I want to leave you a challenge. The title of this song is called I Think I'm Okay, which in my view is a pretty strong indignation of the fact that this is meant to be a song about, in spite of my hardships, I am looking to overcome them and I feel better as a result of my introspection. It's supposedly about feeling fucked up, but knowing that there can and maybe is something better beyond that. On screen right now are the entire lyrics to this entire song. Find me one line in this entire song that genuinely goes towards this idea of legitimately overcoming your emotions. Explain to me why you feel that way in the comments. I will pin it, I will give you credit, I will retract everything I said in this entire section. Find me one lyric in this entire song that goes towards that point. Pause the video, do it now. We good? Did you do it? awesome. I genuinely want to have this discussion because I feel like it's really important that we cover things like this, because I feel like we've seen so much of this very negative but like pseudo optimistic self-talk that is worth having but presents itself as something that it really isn't. And I feel like that can be really detrimental to the mental health of people. So I feel like this is it's an important discussion that we need to have and that we need to negotiate and talk about, because when it comes to this kind of art, I feel like there could be a genuine problem here, and I just want to engage that. We done being serious now? We're done being serious now. Let's move on.
What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies.
There's once underwater and now I'm on fire.
I guess the children yearn for stomp clap folk, apparently. The song actually starts off with this genuinely fantastic sounding guitar passage that would be great on a song that actually utilizes it for anything more than a 2-second intro. After these 2 seconds, we cut to a genuinely horrible sounding stomp fucking sample that they show cut up entirely before the song actually kicks off. This means that they quite literally reveal it as a sample and show the cutoff of that sample before you've even gotten to what the sample actually is supposed to sound like.
And I'm done being.
This is like one of the most basic bare bones production failures you can make, and they flaunt it like it's a goddamn party trick. It sounds so bad, man. Huge day for people obsessed with Vikings for some reason. Look, Mumford & Sons have the capability and the platform to really experiment and progress the folk music genre to places it has never seen, but nope. So instead, here we are, stuck with the most absurd and obnoxious reliving of a subgenre that only exists elsewhere in Hillsong. Hillsong United, Hillsong Worship, Hillsong Teen Choir, Hillsong Young and Free, Hillsong Toddlers, Hillsong Infants, Hillsong Newborns, Hillsong Embryos. Full disclosure, I can't go too hard on this song because I was actually given tickets to a Katy Perry concert that I ended up going to. I was supposed to go with my sister, but then she couldn't make it, so I ended up having to go alone, even though I wasn't that huge of a fan of Katy Perry in the first place. And then because I went alone, I also dressed up like an emo fuck, and then Katy Perry waved at me while I was on the balcony type section of the show, and yeah. Look, I can't burn too many bridges this year, okay? Listen, I'm gender fluid. I consider myself to be pro women's rights and all of that jazz, okay? Fuck the patriarchy. Anyone who thinks otherwise is either a coward, a pussy, or someone who has fallen victim to conservative marketing from big media. I love when corporations spread hatred for profit. That being said, this song does a horrible job of playing off of feminist ideals, generally speaking. Here, in fact, let me actually throw up a couple examples of songs that I feel are good examples of this kind of feminism in music culture.
Didn't change my number, I only changed who I replied to. I said it all I need to say. No, don't hit my line, please don't go the game. Ladies, 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 take it easy when he leaves me, please be my guest.
Unlike all of these songs, this song just takes a painfully boring electropop beat and partners it with some of the most cornball lyrics imaginable. One of the biggest problems I keep seeing in this kind of music too is the incessant need to, for whatever reason, keep on using queer specific lingo for no reason whatsoever. Words like mother and sister have been like so strapped from genuine queer talk that I, and admittedly this is completely anecdotally, have almost never seen anyone who is actually queer say those words in real life anymore. Like, why are y'all even doing this? Not to mention, this completely bare bones lyricism means that this song almost exclusively relies on that. There's no sense of storytelling. There's no world to immerse yourself in. They read less like lyrics and more like positive affirmations you would tell yourself in the mirror every morning. It's at a point where I feel like there was no genuine purpose behind this song other than to do a pseudo career revival that was dead on impact. Everything about this reads as completely forced to me. It's like just slightly shy of feeling like a parody of the exact 2010s pop sphere that Katy Perry found a career for herself in. Please.
And after a while, you'll make it to tier 8, where you touch her horn for the very first time. Very special.
What about tier 15?
Stay away from that! Do not do tier 15!
When we die, tell me, can we still get high?
This one fucking hurts, bro. Look, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to be pretty big on this Youngblood guy back in like middle school and early high school. Though I'm nowhere near as big on this style and genre now at all, I still had and still have pretty high hopes for seeing Youngblood improve his craft from his debut record. An EP like Hope for the Underrated Youth is, in retrospect, pretty corny, but still showed huge talent for being able to build some pretty solid pop punk atmospheres. Instead, ever since his adaptation into TikTok culture, he's kind of found himself at just the right place and just the right time to become the pseudo head of the now alt talk. Well, outside of Machine Gun Kelly anyway. Now, damn near all of the genuine music that we see coming out of like the alt talk sphere is just consistently trying to replicate what already very little enjoyability Youngblood had at the time. I'm looking at you, TX2. All the while, Youngblood himself consistently folds to try and replicate the same exact formula over and over and over and over and over. But I mean, come on, bro. Throwing Lil Yachty in here after his instantaneous grift into the same alt rock music that we've been seeing with MGK? With MGK? What's even happening here? Look, this ain't soft, this ain't cool. It's the most genuinely mind-numbing adaptation of a genre that is in all actuality supposed to be cool and against the grain and interesting and creative and experimental and genuinely create an alternative space from the mainstream. The more Youngblood keeps doing this kind of vibe, the more all of his lyrics feel less like lyrics and more like keywords. The more that these sonics fade into the exact same overwhelming, brutal haze of everything else that sounds exactly like it. And as a result, the more I'm convinced Youngblood has less and less and less to say every single song that comes out.
I started coming in her pussy. It was so motherfucking fat, I goddamn.
Believe it or not, like Ripley's. She said she was gay until I slayed. Now she's strictly diggly. As soon as she plays, I'm on the way, and I be showing her quickly.
I've never once heard a song with so much to say about it and yet simultaneously so little. It's one of the most mind-numbing beats you will ever hear, with the only memorable lyrics in this song being just straight up homophobia. So like, on one hand, this song has absolutely nothing going for it, but on the other, it will be in textbooks for generations to come. See, not only was this the first J. Cole drop since his tangential relation to the Kendrick and Drake beef that happened, this was the first drop from any of the proverbial big three since that beef had occurred. And boy did it occur. Naturally, J. Cole being caught up in the crossfires of that fallout, he had a lot to prove with a drop. So the question is, did he? No, the answer is no. Of course the answer was no. What the fuck did you think I was gonna say? How do you recognize how much you have riding on a release? How do you recognize that the entire world is going to be looking at what you're doing and then release fucking Grippy? I like my cheese Grippy, bro. I could hypothetically read off a ton of terrible lyrics from this song, but then I would feel the impulsive need to take a long, cold shower. So I'm just gonna move on.
Wow, that was enough for my internet stardom to blossom into cult leadership. Look at all my new fans, they'll defend anything I do. Watch!
The story goes, I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I skated and they froze.
I feel like every year the internet just coincidentally finds a terrible YouTuber song to just bully the absolute ever-loving shit out of. Last year it was Cinder with CPR. The year before that it was Mori Calliope and Demon Dice with like their entire discographies. The year before that, it was That's what the mask is! Like, the list goes on, right? Look, all I'm gonna say is that in all of my years being a music fan, in all of my years genuinely exposing myself to good quality music and bad music, and in all of my years of being on YouTube, on the internet, I have never in my life seen a YouTube video with a comment that gets more likes than the YouTube video itself. Now, I've seen a ton of arguments on the internet sort of playing devil's advocate to this song, basically saying that people making fun of this song are less making fun of it because of the fact that it's a bad song and more because of the controversy that KSI was in around the time that he dropped this track. That surrounding context and drama of this song being the Lunchables but mold grift that KSI has been doing alongside a Logan Paul and a Mr. Beast, right? Only to then, after being called out, to quote unquote defend himself from Dan TDM, which, okay, let's get one thing straight here, okay? This dude has a skeleton dog named Grim. You don't know what he's capable of, but like, regardless of how true that mold thing is, it's true. I really feel like there's an argument to be made that the surrounding context of that song makes that song in and of itself so much worse than it objectively could be without that context. You know, like this song, as with all art and music, exists within the context that surrounds it, right? It didn't just fall off a coconut tree, now did it? Fuck, that sucks. With this in mind, why the fuck would you write a song about being in the thick of it after immediately making millions of dollars off of exploitative and manipulative marketing to children? Fuck. That's not even to mention the fact that you supposedly wrote this song about being in the thick of it, while at the same time, every lyric that doesn't say I'm in the thick of it is just a brag rap track. You just are flexing every time you aren't saying I'm in the thick of it. I shit you not. The lyrics are quite literally, I'm in the thick of it. I also have 40 million subs, sell out every tour I've ever done, and have a fuck ton of money. Like, what did you think was gonna happen, little bro? You thought we were gonna feel bad?
God, hot Belgian waffles! Wait, I'm alone. I can swear for real. Son
Yeah, I know it's poison. You're feeding me poison. I'm choking from the taste and I can't help but swallow.
All right, next up we got, oh god, we've got Poison by Has Been Hotel. Fuck. All right, so right off the bat, this is going to be one of the most controversial, if not the most controversial take that I have of this entire video. So I want to lay some ground rules and re-emphasize some ground rules that I made earlier in this video, okay? In fact, let me read directly off of my script just so that way I can like fully say exactly what I want to say with like no alterations with my words or anything like that. I want to be like dead serious about this, okay? Cool. Look, so please enjoy what you enjoy. I like doing these lists because I just find music discourse to be fun, and I like expressing and sharing healthy arguments and discussion with a community. Since this show's release, I've seen a fuck ton of harassment being thrown from both sides, people who have a vile hatred of the show, attacking any all fans of it, and fans of the show ravenously attacking people making healthy criticism. I scripted this out just a little over a week after another video essayist made a similar critique to what I'm going to be making here. Gotta turn the page, my bad. Using their own negative experiences to guide their critique. I'll also inevitably end up drawing from similar places in this review. I want to make it clear that I do not stand for anybody accusing fans or content creators they don't know of being bad people, and I won't stand for any of the harassment of those people. And if you do, get the fuck off my channel. But alternatively, I also don't stand for fans using, again, a critique to vilify people within media analysis, especially victims of any kind. If you do, also get the fuck off my channel. This is a space for hopefully a healthy discussion that welcomes all points of view that aren't bigoted or genuinely vile. Use common sense and remember that I am happy as hell for you if you like not just this song, but any of the songs that I mentioned in this video. All of that out of the way, man, do I dislike what I've seen of Has Been Hotel, bro. Now, I say it that way because I have not been able to genuinely sit down and finish this show. I had to quit. Look, there's like a horrible character moment like 3 episodes into this show. The one character whose actual dynamic in the show I legitimately enjoyed got killed off as a joke. Like, this character's existence was a bit. They completely cut this dude's redemption arc off and knock him the fuck off the census in like 0.3 seconds flat. Straight up vaporized, I tell ye. Look, if you know, you know, Rip the Goat turned the show off the second that happened. I was so fucking pissed, bro. I'm not even joking. Look, the bottom line is that I wish that I liked this show, and I just don't, man. I fuck with indie animation too, bro. Like, all of that shit rules. I just straight up can't vibe with this. Hell, I'm gonna keep it completely 100 with you here too, man. I fucked with the pilot back in the day. I'm not a huge fan of it now, but back in the day, I kinda fucked with that shit. And I also fucked with the majority of season 1 of Hell of a Boss, even if I haven't revisited it since it really released. So, with my biases known, this song blows chunks, my friends. Part of me does enjoy some aspects of this song, right? I like the electropop vibe. It feels like a much more accessible concept for something you might have gotten on like Ugly Death by Ada Rook, right? Compared to the rest of the track list too off of this OST, it's also arguably by far the most memorable, and I don't even mean that in like a bad negative way. It stands out. It's catchy, it's fun, it's silly vibes all around, and it also has a very clear and defined aesthetic that, conversely to the rest of the soundtrack, genuinely gets pulled off really well and makes it really, really memorable and fun to listen to. Something that, again, the rest of the show's music struggled heavily with, from what I've seen anyway. So, what's the problem,
Arthur?
You ask? I don't know how to break this to you, pal. Well, it's a song about being forced into real sweet. Yay! Here's the craziest part. If you had not seen this show, if you didn't know the like actual story beats of this song or the show itself, you would not be able to tell. You wouldn't know. Shit, I knocked down my water bottle in rage, man. This song feels like it was written about like a mid-tier college breakup. And that's not even to say that like you can't make silly, dumb pop stuff about horrible, horrible, horrible things, right? I think you can. In fact, I feel like it can be done very, 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 very well. I fucking love and implore you to check out songs like
Johnny, 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 I just wanna be your girl. I do, I do, I do. If only all of you could see the world I see. I wanna live inside the feeling. I don't wanna be a human being.
But where all these songs use their sonic ideas to represent and bolster their overall narrative ideas, Poison rather dilutes those ideas by making sacrifices in order to serve this electropop banger atmosphere that they're trying to create. Now, I won't pretend to know why this was the case. I would imagine that it's because they want to bolster the appeal of the song overall, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I was on the show myself and saw the exact reasoning for them going in this direction with the song. I won't pretend like I'm making those kind of calls myself, you know? The end result, though, is a song that feels like it doesn't care about the character in play, like it doesn't care about the topic being discussed, and doesn't care about the audience's experience with that song. And it's because this song makes no effort to appeal to any of those aspects in the first place. You can't say that it cares about the character's representation because it does nothing to genuinely experiment with the unique narrative position that they've put themselves in. You can't say that it cares about the topic because not only does the electropop banger atmosphere completely dampen the ideas and the messaging of this narrative, but also when paired with the visuals, this is just straight up softcore. No, I'm just keeping it real. Like, I heard people saying that that's what this was in reviews and whatnot. I thought they were joking. I thought that that was like, oh, it's just like a silly over exaggeration. I thought that that was just silly vibes all around. But nope. There it is. There it is. It's on the screen.
Hello? Look! Hey! Listen!
And you can't say that it cares about its intended audience because I feel as though by showing that it doesn't care about any of the aspects of the narrative itself, it, by virtue of that, shows a complete and total disrespect of the audience's time itself. Hopefully that was explained well. I do maybe want to revisit the show at some point and maybe engage a discussion here about it and just sort of explain my process further. I promise that whatever it ends up being, it'll be a lot less scathing than this. Probably. I haven't finished the show yet. If that's something that might interest you, genuinely let me know in the comments. Like, I know people say that, but like, I'm genuinely curious here. If that's something you want to see, just like a straight up analysis of this show, it's something I've been teasing with, and I'd love to see kind of what you guys might feel about me covering something like that. Let me know. Look, I have no idea what the goal of this thing truly, genuinely was. Like I said, I won't pretend to know, but hopefully I was able to explain why this just hit so poorly with me. But I do, in spite of that, want to give one last piece of creative advice here. Look, I'm no industry guy. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Feel free to like not take me seriously, but maybe, just maybe, it's actually a bad call to have an storyboard a song exclusively about SA. I'm just throwing that one out there, okay?
Satan is real
can see him and hear him in this world every day. Satan is real, working with power. He can tempt you and lead you astray.
You have to help me. Please, please, you have to help me find my son. His name is Nemo.
Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you think, sure, she's got everything.
Ah yes, there's nothing more punk than taking a commission from the biggest multimedia conglomerate in modern human history that is exclusively trying to build itself off of the back of a DIY artist scene that they, in all actuality, could not give less of a fuck about. Sorry to all of the 2 people in the audience who liked this song so much that they signed themselves up to Disney Plus and got any right they had to sue Disney taken away from them in a moment's notice. Look, this is just one of a series of covers from Disney's A Whole New Sound record. This is a covers album that is using some of the biggest classic and modern pop punk bands to essentially perpetuate their "how do you do, fellow kids" image for a whole new generation to come. Once again, I must ask, am I just too woke for this? And I'm like not even too into the idea of like keep corpse out of pop punk kind of an atmosphere that a lot of people tend to be. Don't get me wrong, fuck corpse and pop punk, but like simultaneously, they can at some points be pretty beneficial for their scenes. That is to say, for example, large scale music fests like Sick New World or When We Were Young Fest or even like a Riot Fest, while being pretty detrimental in a lot of instances, are a really solid place for new up and coming people who are just introducing themselves into pop punk spaces and punk spaces generally that allow them to expose themselves to artists, to find community, to meet artists not just within the musicianscape but also like literal hand drawing artists, people who make merchandise, and it's a cool way to meet those kinds of people for new people who are coming into the scene for the first time. I think that that's great, and in that sense, corporations in pop punk music can be very beneficial for their scenes in some cases. I want to recognize here that like even if this is a pretty detrimental thing, which it is, it at the very least has the ability to potentially expose a younger audience to pop punk music and perpetuate that cycle, because Lord knows maybe they grew up on Disney stuff, you know? That happens for people. That's sick. Even if Disney itself sucks absolute dog water. None of that though excuses a bad song. Can you see the point I'm about to make here? The singing is grating as hell. The pop punk atmosphere adds nothing new to the sound of this song. Like, this instrumental is so overproduced that it feels like 5 different pop punk songs are being played at the same time. It really lacks the creativity and the emotion that made the original song that's being covered here so damn good in the first place. And you know, maybe asking a pretty old pop punk band to try to live up to that creative status, one of the most well-renowned and beloved ballads just ever written, maybe asking them to try to live up to that was maybe like a bad call. But then I have to ask, why did we ever ask in the fucking first place? Money. The answer is money. The answer is money.
But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real.
As I grow older, as time passes by, moving on gets harder, and the more I ask why.
Alright, bro, we're in the top 10. This seat is fucking killing me. I've got to stand the fuck up. Hold on, y'all. Is that better? I think that's a lot better. Oh shit, this actually looks cool as fuck. I kind of fuck with this. Why didn't I just do this the entire time? Oh, by the way, sorry if I have to leave my like script here because I don't have a place to put it. Actually, wait, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can't see it. I have it set down on my garbage can over here. That's where my script is gonna be now. I'm actually gonna put my water bottle there too. Awesome. Okay, where were we? Grown Up Goodbyes, Anna, Indiana. Shit. Look, so last year I decided not to review a song titled 2 + 2 = 5. The reason being was because it was just this weird alt-right homophobic rap grift that we've seen countless times before and since, and on this list. Yippee! Though I felt it necessary to include it on last year's list at the time, I felt as though treating it as though it was a song and not a grift would have been a fruitless endeavor. In the years since I made that video though, I feel as though my perspective has kind of shifted on what is and is not worth discussion and is reviewable in the standard sense. See, while that song was not made for the love of the art and was rather made strictly to make a profit off of spewing insatiable hatred towards minorities, you gotta give them credit because at least it was a song. In the very literal term of a song, at least it was a song. Every piece of instrumentation, every lyric was recorded by someone. Someone wrote the lyrics, someone shot the music video, someone did production, someone recorded vocals. This song hasn't. Anna, Indiana is an AI country musician. Every piece of instrumentation, every lyric, everything was developed by a computer. Not only a computer though, a computer designed exclusively to take the actual work of actual musicians against their will, Frankenstein them all together into a soulless amalgam of what is supposed to be art, and then was uploaded to the interwebs. The only reason this was uploaded was to take from artists who have uploaded to the internet in an age where artists have no choice but to upload to the internet. In other words, I'll review 1,000 2 + 2 = 5s before I let this company die. I'm not reviewing this. Rot.
I need pizza! Howdy do! I love you! I love it, 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 I love it. I love it, 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 I love it. Ooh. I love it, 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 I love it.
So, what's worse than AI generation pretending to be art in the music industry? Art that might as well have been AI generation in the music industry. I'm not joking when I say that this thing has less of an actual message than the thing that was generated by a computer. The production of this thing is just brat if it was hit by the fun extractor. Camila Cabello wants to convince you that this is music that could stand toe-to-toe with a 070 Shake, a 100 Gex, a Charlie XCX. She wants to convince you that she is aware and can be part of the underground. So when I tell you that this is Iggy Azalea from Temu, I fucking mean that shit, brother. There's nothing to dissect, nothing to enjoy. I'm not even making jokes anymore, man.
Have you ever tried whole grain bread? It's far better for you. Not everyone can afford organic stores, Carmen. Maybe you should check your privilege. I just meant that eating too much processed food is a big factor in weight gain, and what? Big people shouldn't be proud of who they are? No, of course not. I mean, ask your doctor and he will tell you. He? Why would you assume the doctor is he? Is it because you assume a woman can't be a doctor?
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. Look, man, you're lucky that the UK spells cancelled with 2 L's instead of 1, because if they didn't, then I would have no choice but to not review this and instead make fun of you for 2 minutes for not spelling your own song title correctly. How the hell did Falling in Reverse, of all bands, make a better song about being cancelled than the actually well-renowned hard rock band from the 80s? They're canceling you! Man, if you're gonna keep making music that is this absurdly generic, I doubt there's going to be anybody left who cares enough to proverbially cancel you. Fuck it, dude. Even at that point, like, we're in 2024. Nobody's canceling anybody anymore. Our president is a criminal! The only things getting canceled nowadays are like Xbox Game Pass subscriptions and like any show anybody has ever liked on a streaming service. Catch up, you old coots. I feel like if they were ever gonna try to revive Guitar Hero again, this would be on the set list. Like, you're gonna have to learn how to play a guitar with 5 buttons on each fret, just one less than what's actually needed to straight up just learn guitar. All the while, your like $6 billion PS6 Pro is gonna be yelling at you about the goddamn liberals. And what's worse, you won't even have a disk drive. Motley Crue, you're not the Guitar Hero.
Do you like waffles? Yeah, we like waffles. Do you like pancakes? Yeah, we like pancakes. Do you like French toast? Yeah, we like French toast. Dip, 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 can't wait to get a mouthful. My toaster is electric. It's a top that makes it pop. I can't keep myself together when the heat is hot. Come on, wrinkles and eyes and just the way I like it, please.
Man, can I go 1 year without having to review a garbage song about a garbage food product? At BK, have it your way. Why am I even entertaining this, bro? I'm not even wondering why this exists. Money, the answer is money. The answer is that it's money. The answer is money. No, but I am wondering who in God's green earth might disagree with me. Like, I want to meet the person who wakes up in the morning and is like, God, you know what would really hit right now? A corny song about a garbage food product by a corny musician and a corny late night host. Like, I want to meet this person, you know? Shake hands, sit down, sitting by the lunch table, cup of coffee in one hand, perhaps even a Pop-Tart in the other, and just get to know them. By the way, can I just say that like Jimmy Fallon is like the SCP-001 of the music industry. Nobody knows how he got here. Nobody knows why he's here in the first place. And despite his status, somehow remains so inconsequential that it's up for debate that he ever even existed here in the first place. In this spirit, I'm going to declare the rest of this review as redacted information from the database of public knowledge and just move on to whatever the hell is next.
On today's One Line at a Time rap battles, we've got Silly Billy versus the Demon Core. Here we go.
Walk one Delilah, no I'm late cause there's bad traffic. I just showed my dog your Grammy, said he knows a man that slapped it, I'm so cheesed.
So I think it's pretty clear why I said that features don't count in that one song per artist rule. Where do I begin with this, man? Let's start with the surface level here, okay? This song is not funny. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you, Professor Sky. I'm going in on this shit. In all seriousness though, shouts out to Professor Sky. That guy fucking rules. It's just a weird as fuck, grating as all hell parody of what I think is supposed to be Toronto accents. That actually brings me to the real reason why this song sucks though. Drake is here. So this is the first song from Drake since the Kendrick-Drake beef that anybody actually remembers. And that's not a good thing. Surely I don't need to go into the weeds of that whole beef here though. I mean, if you really gotta catch up, I highly recommend watching the FD Signifier video about it. Now, there was one other song that dropped before this from Drake, it being a feature with Sexy Red, which... okay, but really this is the big one that people caught on to. This song feels like watching a friend of yours make constant self-deprecating jokes at their own expense, only to be like, no, I'm fine, you guys, I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly, you guys. Guys. Like, dude, you know this song is about you, right? Like, this is about you. I don't know really what else to add here, but did you guys know there was actually a music video for this? I haven't seen anybody talk about this. Man, this looks awful too. I'ma just keep it honest with you, man. Like, this feels like the kind of thing that would try to sell you a prescription in like a CRT TV in 2005. And you know what? You know that shit is gonna get recalled in a year and a half too. Like, if someone took whatever this thing was trying to sell, I guarantee you they would have testicular torsion by nightfall.
G sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall.
And I'm the man who don't respect.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a whack. Dog, it's a yarmulke. Homie, no cap.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce the first good rap song according to anyone who regularly eats at Cracker Barrel. And boy, oh boy, do they put the word cracker in Cracker Barrel. This song is like trying to play Mad Libs with your best friend, but instead of actually paying attention to the word types, they just keep saying slurs over and over. They call me Mad Libs because I got these libs mad as fuck. You don't need me to tell you that the Tom McDonald song featuring Ben Shapiro is bad, right? Like, I don't need to explain that to you, right? I think I see why Ben Shapiro thinks rapping is not real music, because whatever the fuck this is, it is not music. This isn't a song. This is Clumsy Boyfriend sinks entire cruise ship, killing thousands ASMR. Great video, by the way. Fuck with that shit. Look, dude, I've already been more offended in this video about a Meghan Trainor and Jimmy Fallon song talking about Pop-Tarts. Try harder next time, pal.
The duck said, thank you.
Went honk honk. Real fucking funny, dude.
It is funny, you fucking piece of shit.
Yo, you wanna fucking honk? I could do that
Yeah, honk,
too,
you
asshole.
fucker. Beat the shit out of you.
Joke is on you. Take a tumble like your friend is a singer like you. Everybody's talking shit, calling me an idiot. Don't know how I handle it.
Does he know? Now, there are some things in life that are universal constants. This is one of them. You know, like the sun rises in the morning, sets in the evening, hell will never freeze over, and Corey Feldman will always end up on a worst singles of the year list. You got a problem with it? Take it up with God at this point, man. Don't shoot the messenger. That being said, this time, it's a bit different. He has become aware. Strangely enough, there's actually some pretty lovable elements of this song, more than usual for Corey. Being completely honest here, there's some parts of this song that feel kind of similar in vibes and atmosphere to like one of the weirder cuts off of Era Vulgaris by Queens of the Stone Age. Something that, in my opinion, Corey is comparatively better suited for. That being said, this song still sucks, man. The whole bit, as you can probably infer from the title, is just, you laughed at my music, now you must pay. There's this ungodly funny moment where before the song actually even kicks off, they're just playing a bunch of like stock clown music while laughing presumably at the listener for listening to the song in the first place. Like, dude. Listen, man, nobody wants to hear a Corey Feldman song that is good and listenable more than me. Except for maybe Anthony Fantano. I don't know. God, random tangent, sorry. But could you imagine like Anthony Fantano if he existed in like the 1800s? He'd come on here like, well, I do declare. Total Xanarchy might not be for the faint-hearted, but it is at least a light to decent 7 out of 10. Holy shit, that's so good. Man, if you're like a sketch type person on YouTube, like if you make sketches or some shit, free idea for you. Do that bit. That'd be so funny. Look, my body has been yearning for a Corey Feldman song that I can play during like my standard workout routine, man. That'd go hard as shit. Alas, until then, it seems as though the joke may truly have been on me. I don't know what the fuck I meant by that.
I can't do this. A little pink guy once told me I needed to find out what I'd be good at as president. I finally figured it out. I'm the president who shouldn't have been the president. Let's face it, I'm You know, I always used to want to win the election and have people like me. But I don't care about their new one now. I just want to be honest. And everyone that trolled me and gave me nasty messages, fuck you. Fuck off. Jag off.
We voted Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy.
God, it really only ever gets worse, huh? It really only ever gets worse, huh? Listen, man, I'm about as white as they come, but even I can't stand vanilla fucking ice, bro. Like, how do you simultaneously do an Ice Ice Baby cover with all of the lyrics being replaced by MAGA catchphrases while also not being the whitest person to ever walk the face of the earth? Like, I'm impressed, dude. You know you're giving like Tim Allen a run for his money here, right? Anyway, y'all remember Forgiato Blow, right? The mayor of Magaville himself? The dude wrote that one song about how Target is like trying to indoctrinate your children into a or something. Look, dude, you can say what you want about that song, but you cannot deny that hook went hard as shit. Target, yeah, they targeted. Like, fuck, that's hard as shit. And they said conservatives can't make good music. Yeah, fucking right. Well, he made that song. Unfortunately, though, it seems as though our poor sweet mayor of Magaville may have strayed from the light. As I alluded to, this is a straight up cover of Ice Ice Baby, but the words are all just about Donald Trump, I guess. I mean, if there was a rap song that you could guarantee every Trump voter would know, you can't do a whole lot worse, can you? That's not all, though. This song actually features former Kanye West girlfriend Amber Rose. And by feature, I mean she just kind of stands there for a bit, I guess. Wanna see me do a Forgiato Blow feature? Wanna see me do it again? Yeah, she quite literally does not say a word on this song despite being listed as a feature. Like, she's on that featured artist any percent speedrun shit, bro. I actually wrote here on the script, because I wrote this morning of the election, that this would be really funny if Donald Trump won the presidency. I don't think it's that funny anymore, man. Like, dude, going even more off script here. As of recording this, just last night, it was announced that Elon Musk would be running the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge. Do with that information what you might. Tangent again, this is gonna date the video as hell, by the way. Like, these goddamn cabinet picks have been whack, bro. Oh my god, bro. Fucking Elon Musk, like I talked about. You've got RFK in charge of the Food and Drug Administration. I can't speak, bro. Honest to god, at this point, just like put like Sneeko as the head of Homeland Security. Because if there's one thing that motherfucker knows how to do, it's how to keep his shit locked. Whatever. Let's just move on.
Say that you a lesbian, girl, me too. Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Browns. I'd never look twice at no teenager.
This might be the first rap diss in history to spend more time saying I'm not a predator than actually dissing anybody. Yeah, y'all could probably see this pic coming about a mile away. I mean, in all seriousness though, how the fuck does this exist? You know, I'd like to imagine that Drake isn't on some like full-blown Diddy shit here, but at the same time, I feel like non-diddlers would have enough common sense and self-awareness to not hop on a track like, I'm too famous to be a predator. I'm too famous to be a predator. To be honest though, I kind of feel bad for Drake, man. Like, there's only so many ways you can have to say that you're not a predator without eventually sounding like the biggest predator to ever walk the face of the earth. Like, no matter which way you cut it, at some point you're gonna have to hop on that track like pterodactyl mixed with a T-Rex. Pterodactyl. Just kidding, Drake. I actually don't feel bad for you. You kissed a 17-year-old on stage. Like, the absolute best case scenario for you at this point is that you're a loser bitch, right? And I gotta keep it honest with you, man. You don't come back from being a loser bitch, okay? It's over. Like, listening to Drake misrepresent Kendrick's own messaging while also using horrible diss angles invented by the internet while also trying to convince you that he's not a creepy weirdo is just one of the worst concoctions for a diss track I think could ever possibly be conceived. Or at least, that's what I would say if there wasn't a worse diss track that came out this year. A track that is so genuinely vile that it makes my stomach churn listening to it. A track that's so vehemently miserable that I could barely stomach listening to it for the sake of putting it on this list. A song so awful that there really never was any competition for the #1 spot in the first place. This, from the start, was going to be the worst song of the year.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 Preparing the...
It's a rap, people round, and a rap for your round. I'll let a round rap around every rap around till it's rap around. This rap around, I'll rap around a round rap. I'll let a round rap around. How you gonna get around that?
I'm not your dead mama, lying on 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 your dead mama.
Honest to God, it's kind of a shame that The Heart Part 6 got as hated on as it did. See, this one was released just a few short months before that whole beef. As a result, I feel like Nicki Minaj never really got to showcase how insanely rancid her bullshit was this year. Instead, Nicki and her incessant toxicity was kind of allowed to just sort of fester underneath this cultural surface, where harassment of people like Megan Thee Stallion, the victim, and I mean victim of this diss track, it was just kind of permitted to exist. It's a damn shame too, because this song fucking sucks. I shit you not, the beat for this track is straight up stolen. Not only is it stolen, but it's stolen from an AI Sandy Cheeks diss track from 6 months prior.
Oh, I hit calling by your catalog. I see you, bitch. I'm the reason they call it Bikini Bottom. Don't forget I left you on red, gang.
Shot, bye. Bigfoot, but you still a small fry. Swim.
I'm geeked up like I'm DDG. I hit your block in every corner like a fucking DVD. They said the
For those who may not be in the know, Nicki Minaj went behind the back of Megan Thee Stallion in an effort to release sneak diss after not so sneak diss, essentially forcing Megan's hand in responding. Megan, naturally, did. She dropped the line, "These hoes don't be mad at Megan, they be mad at Megan's law." This was of course in reference to the many people in Nicki Minaj's circle who are registered sex offenders. That's real. Nicki, of course, would go on to incessantly cry about this on the internet for ages until she would eventually release this diss track, Bigfoot. You can guess what the title is in reference to. This isn't even the worst part though. In the lead up to this song, she's still on the internet talking about how she's going to empty the clip if she so much as breathes wrong, and how she's also threatening to release like 5 more songs on top of this one, essentially threatening to do a Kendrick Lamar before Kendrick could do a Kendrick Lamar. But that isn't even the worst part. Immediately after the release of this song, she's still on the internet, only this time she's saying that this wasn't even a diss track to begin with. Everything about this song is so infuriating that it's absurd. Dude, she says the word sigh. Like, she doesn't sigh. She just says the word sigh. Like, she wants to come on this track talking about how Megan has a bad flow. Meanwhile, she's on the beat sounding like the goddamn Tethered from Us. She even does like the Drake Heart Part 6 bit where she comes on the track monologuing like a complete dork. Only this time, she spends half of the song monologuing. And not only that, but the beat stops a minute and a half before she is done monologuing. She just drops everything and becomes an ASMR YouTuber for a minute and a half. God, I can't even take this anymore. I've got to get out of here. Let's talk. My neighbors are playing some very loud radio station. It's not even music, it's just like a commercial. Let me grab my script. All of that out of the way. What's the moral of the story here? Look, you can make all of the bad music you want. I don't care. I think that making bad music is how you are able to grow as a musician, actually. And trust me, as I said before, I've made some pretty fucking dog shit music myself. Here's a clip of that dog water music project I was talking about earlier, by the way. And now here's a clip of like my recent ambient shit. See, making bad music is a necessity for growth. In my opinion, though, what makes music unforgivably bad is really when it boils down to respect. No matter what, in my opinion, when you are making art, you have to have respect for a few things. That is respect for people, respect for the medium, and respect for the community. If you use your art to attack people, to be rude as hell, to put others down, that is the moment, in my opinion anyway, that you have lost as an artist. If you care about these things, though, if you care about supporting a community that you live in, if you care about a music scene, a minority group, or anything else though, that's when you've won. See, music is one of the most important tools, in my opinion, that we have culturally. That's because it is almost definitively one of the most important art forms and most accessible art forms that we have. It allows you, one person in your bedroom, to create a full soundscape to illustrate your ideas and beliefs. It's through this form of storytelling that people who are engaging with this art can learn to be more empathetic towards different belief systems. It can build a stronger understanding of cultures they either are in already or have not ever even been exposed to. So though I definitely did make fun of some silly artists that I just don't really like the music of that much in this video, I don't want to like focus on that because that's not the point here. As silly as that stuff is, at the end of the day, I don't care about that. It's the Tom McDonalds, the Forgiato Blows, the Drakes of the world that I do give a shit about. It's these people, or in Anna Indiana's case, people that truly, in my opinion, don't care about the artistic medium that they are in themselves. They rather prefer to isolate, to draw dividing lines, to effectively build an empire of only themselves without ever contributing culturally to the value of the art that they make. So if you don't respect art, if you don't care about art, if you don't value art, you don't earn the value of consumers of that art in the first place. So I encourage you as fans of art, or perhaps even artists yourselves, to think more critically about the art in which you consume, especially in music, as it is the most easily accessible and easy to make art form that exists right now. It means that there are both people with genuinely great intentions with their music and also people who are working and actively trying to exploit that. There are people who use that kind of tool to either foster a ton of monetary value for themselves, or even worse, to foster hatred. In those instances, we as people who consume that art should have one response and one response only. Fuck that noise! I'm gonna sit in front of my dog's empty cage here because I'm too lazy to actually change the fucking scene again. But this is the outro. This is the outro. Thanks for being part of the outro. Hang tight. I want to talk about a couple things for a little bit. And then we can move. This is way too close. Let me back that up a little bit. That's better. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching. My name is Ash. I hope you're having a great day here. And this is going to be my last video on the main channel this year. Fuck, that's crazy. When I started this year, I'm pretty sure I only had like 20 something subscribers, and now I'm at like almost 500, which by the way is like the cutoff, other than like hours watched on the channel itself, to which I can start getting like super chats and things like that. My stuff won't be monetized until 1,000, but I can start like getting anything financially from this, which I have not been. This has all been in whatever, which I don't care about the money when it comes to this shit. I mean, I just used a fuck ton of like copyrighted music. Like, I'm not cooking, you know, I'm not cooking here, but it still means a lot that like my work is getting so close to actually having that kind of potential, and that is something that is not lost on me and means so damn much. Just as a creative, being able to get anything for your art is something that I feel is just so important and so cool and so sick and awesome and incredible, and that is an honor that is not lost on me, so thank you. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, though even then I'm very lackadaisy about my schedule, so I stream whenever I stream. Usually it's twice or 3 times a week. With this in mind, I do these streams both on Twitch and here on YouTube, so just by subscribing you can join up on that shit. There's no preference one way or the other. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. I don't give a shit. So feel free to tune into that kind of thing if you feel like it. Right now on the schedule, I'm playing Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, Sally Face, and Night in the Woods, but likely by the time this video goes up, that schedule will have changed. So here is the new schedule. Awesome. I also have a second channel where I talk about some smaller like news, entertainment type stuff. It's very rare seemingly that I've been uploading there, but I still try to more often than I upload here just because it takes a lot less effort, and that way it's a resource for me to kind of talk about things that I want to but couldn't on here. I make music, same name, Ash to Ash. It's on Spotify and shit. It's like some dark ambient shit for weirdos. If you think that that's pretty cool, feel free to check it out. I'm still working on a new record. Oh shit, now I've got to do the goddamn wall. I've got to do the whiteboard of general fulfillment. Let me find my goddamn Patreon supporters right now. Helio! Thank you, Helio! Yippee! If you join up on Patreon, there's no guarantees of getting a whole lot. Sometimes you'll get a lot of creative stuff really fast. Sometimes I'll be gone for a while. I'm hoping to expand Patreon a bit more in the future once I get more of an actual thing going here. But right now, you get videos like these a week in advance. That's guaranteed, but that's just whenever I upload. Access to a ton of like B-side and demo shit that I've done for music stuff. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see ya. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Goodbye. Now I've just got to figure out what to do with that thing. You know what? I think I've got an idea. Where's one place a self-proclaimed music critic on YouTube with 400 subscribers would never go?